Good evening.
Good
Welcome
evening.
again.
Mhm.
Welcome again to Africa 24. And today on 60 Minutes, I have one of my favorite guests, Brother Benson. Brother Benson will be here to unpack what has happened throughout the week. We promised you that we'll be bringing for you very interesting shows. Karibuni sana to Africa. I am your host, Mzalendo. And tonight we unpack one of the most hottest political stories in Kenya, the growing tensions within Kenya Kwanza and ODM, triggered by the controversial Ruto-Raila partnership. Is this a unity or a partnership, or a
Mm.
strategy, or a betrayal? To help us break it down, I am joined by a man who speaks truth without flatters. And that is Brother Ben. Karibu sana ndugu Ben kwa Africa 24.
Asante sana kwa kunipatia nafasi ili tuzungumze mambo ya siasa yanayojiri ama yaliyotokea kwa wiki hii. Tutajaribu kupatiana maoni yetu kuhusiana na sisi tu, labda tuwezi sema kwamba maoni yetu ndio iko sawa, lakini kwa siasa ni unachambua siasa, unaiangalia kwa maoni yako na labda kwa yale ambao watu wanasema, pia unasikiza watu wanasema nini, unaona. So hiyo ndio venye tutajaribu kujadili na tujue ni nini haswa kipo ndani.
Now let us start from the top. This alliance caught many by surprise. Brother Ben, this alliance caught us many by surprise. Was Raila's move tactical? Or was it a technical move or a desperate move for victory?
You are talking about how they came to sign
Yes,
the
how they came together. Was it a strategic move by the ODM leader to join Kenya Kwanza first? You know.
I think before the eyes of the people, before the eyes of the people, or before the eyes of many politicians and many Kenyans, they felt like it was not necessary, and they felt that Raila was making a wrong move. But for a period of some time now, Raila and some of his allies have given the reason why they joined the Kenya Kwanza. But just to bring you to speed, when I'm doing comparison with the the handshake with the Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, the one with the Uhuru Kenyatta was at least well received, without complaints. And the reason is that, remember, Raila did not participate in the second election. It's only Okuro Court who participated in that, because he was saying that some of the recommendations that were made by the courts, the government did not put those measures in place. So when they came, the people embraced it, because people were on war. Remember things like people wanted to divide the country, the secession, whereby people were saying, okay, this other side, we're going to be this one, the president, So when they came together and shook hands, at least it relieved, or it brought normalcy. But the difference between that and the one that we had with the one that is having with President William Ruto is unpopular. And the reason why I think so is the way it came about. It came about when the Gen Z protested about high cost of living, high taxes. And in that, the people who lost their life, in that the people, abductions were there. So it came at a point whereby there was a bloodshed. So it makes it more unpopular, So maybe by Raila now coming out, remember they have 10-point agenda that they signed with the president. And this 10-point agenda is the marking scheme that the Raila is using, especially with the president. And if you look at it, critically, the point agenda that actually Raila has been talking about right now is the strengthening of devolution that Nyong'o spoke about, and Orengo also spoke about in a nutshell of all of them. So today, when he came and defended that, one thing it tells you, to me, I feel like the 10-point agenda that it was supposed to be implemented on their memorandum of understanding, I don't think that it's picking up well. So maybe that's why there is those cracks, and people leaders like Nyong'o and Orengo and Sifuna are now raising those issues because there was an agreement, on the devolution, on how to strengthen it, and they're not seeing that one is happening. So I think that could be the reason why these noises and words from Nyong'o and Sifuna are coming out. So that could be the reason. Like, the marking scheme is not working. That is could be one of the reasons. Another thing also that I would think of is about the unity of Luo nation. We know when you look at the history of Raila Amolo Odinga and especially with Orengo, you know what has transpired between them. And Nyong'o also has a history with Raila Amolo Odinga. But if you look at the age of Raila Odinga right now, both of them, they seems to be like a wise men of the society, because where they've reached, we can count them as the wisest elders, So if the old or the wise men of the society are fighting, if there could be a disagreement, then that one tells you like the society or that community is not moving well, because these are the people who should sit down, or the leaders who should sit down with the young people and advise them on what they should do in terms of leadership, and the people who are now at war. So by that escalating in the internet, and people supporting Orengo, and people calling out on Raila, people calling out on Nyong'o, I think Raila saw it wise that, okay, the next thing that I should do, let me come out and defend what Orengo is saying and what Nyong'o is saying, in the pretext of this is a community that we need to guard. So that could have played a major part in it, And the third thing that I'm also looking at, Zalendo, I'm looking at, when you look at the administration of William Ruto, it has so many challenges right now, especially the public deficit, the trust deficit between the people of Kenya and the administration, And when Baba signed that MOU, all those challenges that this government is going through, because now you are a working partner, they weigh down on your shoulders. You'll be judged with them. So to me, I think maybe the Right Honorable Raila Odinga has seen that every mistake and the challenges that this government is not going to achieve, or the wrong things that the government is doing, is going to fall on me. So what is the next move? The next move is to find a way in which you exit, the healthy exit, an exit whereby you don't exchange bitter words, but an exit whereby you exchange smoothly. So you can offload the burden that weighs the administration of President William Ruto from your shoulder. So like he can be responsible for every challenges and everything that is taking place in his government. So those are some of the things that I'm viewing, and I know as we talk, I will also continue to say more.
All right, thank you for your opening remarks. I can see Gypsy Corner, we salute you. Thank you for coming to Africa this evening, and good morning wherever you are. Now, Brother Ben, you have said something that is one thing that the people of Kenya, the ODM supporters, or rather the opposition, were not happy. Would you say that Raila Odinga abandoned the opposition and joined the government? And was it really constitutional? What do you think? Was it a constitutional move? Is it somewhere in our constitution that the the party that has lost elections can join government wholesomely.
No, when you look at our constitution, even though I'm not very good, I'm not a lawyer by profession, but when you look at our constitution does not envisage or does not contain in any of its articles and clauses of a broad-based government. There is nowhere in the constitution whereby it says that immediately after election we have to have a broad-based government. But what our constitution allows us, it allows us to have what we call the post-PAC election, whereby a political party would have a post-PAC election with the ruling, which in real sense, the up to now we are speaking, the UDA and the ODM has not done that. What they've done, they've just had what we call the memorandum of understanding. Now that's from even if you listen to how Raila talks, they talk of memorandum of understanding. So it also explains how we are very casual with our constitution. We only respect it when it favors us. If it doesn't favor us, we tend to ignore. Because if they could have made the post-PAC, which means the minority, the ODM, especially the ODM as a party, could have relinquished some of the positions they are having to especially the Wiper and the Jubilee and DPK, because now they are working with the government. Because if you look at in the parliament, there are some committees that are mainly meant for the opposition, and the reason being that they can check the government side, especially like when you look at the PAC. Yeah,
No,
the
no,
PAC.
no, 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 Ben. Everybody who is in that committee is in government.
Yeah, they are in government. They are in government because that is,
they're all in government. So what are they checking? And
and
I saw the chairman, the current chairman of PAC coming up with a very lucrative
no, that is
deal.
not that
Hmm?
was a budgetary allocation committee. You know that one belongs to the government. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. But now when you come to issues to do, especially like PAC, Public Accounts Committee, this is a committee that is meant, especially not for the administration, especially members of the
Now, Ben, let
leadership.
me ask you a question. Is it
Yeah.
right? Is it right for the chairman of PAC to come and say that, now Luo Nyanza, we will allocate ourselves, some of this money for the roads, for everything, things that we have not been enjoying before. Does he forget that he's supposed to serve the interest of, in that committee, it is supposed to serve the interest of every other Kenyan, and it is not a committee meant for for his tribe.
Okay, I don't know. Yes, you are very right, because I listened to even how he was saying that Baba should oversight the parliament, because uh, his words when we also follow Yola to the water. I think you're not also not very new to the new word nowadays in the political field. It's not no longer sycophants. We call him the worship and praise team. You know,
It's called the worship and praise team.
yes, the
Viewers,
new,
that's a new word for me.
yeah,
Worship and praise.
the worship and praise team in the Kenyan politics. Now we
Hmm.
don't call them psychophancy. There's a worship
Yes.
and praise team. So we understand where he was coming from. One, he was in Luo Nyanza, so you have to drum up support for uh, the, the government where you are serving. Two, he also was trying to please, to be like one of the good praise and worship team members, you know.
Oh,
So, but
yeah, one of the choir, one of the Raila's choir, members.
yeah, you can call it that, because like now everybody's competing to be one of the best soloists, the best.
No, is it that they compete for attention? What do they really compete for? They compete for attention, or they compete for to be seen by their constituents?
They compete for attention, to be recognized by the bigger the bosses, you know. The more you praise, the more you get recognized, and the more maybe bigger positions might come along your way, because it's not about from the look of things, it's not about the interest of the people. And I think he was also surprised, especially Honorable Atandi was surprised when Raila came and defended what Orengo said, and Nyong'O, and it makes you feel bad. And how then will you change your thinking and say now Orengo is right or Nyong'o is right?
Now you can imagine, Ben. Let me just try and digest what has happened in the week. The CS for Treasury, Mbadi, sends money, CDF, NGAF CDF money that is to be allocated to the constituencies. They call it CDF, NGAF CDF. If you didn't know, that is the CDF money that is allocated to each and every member of parliament. It is it's dispatched, and each and every member is on social media giving checks and paying up school fees and everything that was lagging behind, a job that they should not do. Hey, mheshimiwa, kazi yako sio kulipa fee ya watoto wangu bwana. You need to know that you need to go to parliament and legislate, come up with laws for free secondary education. You are not a parent to my child, you are not. Wewe si mzazi hatunatulipia fee, wachia hiyo. Sisi wazazi tulipe karo za watoto shule. Now the court has pronounced that SINGAF CDF is unconstitutional.
Yes, it's not the first time that the courts are making this, even during the Uhuru administration.
Now, why is the CS breaking the law?
It has always been a norm in our country, and if you are very, very keen when I started, and I say that there's sometimes that we only apply the law when it favors us, or when we are the center of power, and that has always happened. Like even today, if you remember very well, there was a pronouncement that was made that the Azimio are the majority in parliament. Have you ever, since that pronouncement was made by the courts, have you ever heard anything in parliament, even Junet saying that I need to take my position? Yeah, nobody is talking about that. So it's our politics, and we are wired. If you want to follow, if you want to follow the constitution to the letter, I tell you, some of our leaders and our various department wataenda jela kwa sababu now, even like right now, if you listen to the president, and this is what Sifuna was talking about the devolution, where the president was saying, when it comes to roads, leave them to me. And when you look or you check it well, there are roads that are meant for counties and the roads that are meant for national government. And you find that the president is kind of like a person who is doing both, even construction of the markets. Those are some of the things that should be done
for the sake of our viewers at home. And this is something that has been disturbing a lot of people back at home, as people don't understand what county roads and national roads are. Now, this is how it is, na mkae mkijua hivyo. Unaona ile barabara inapita katikati ya center ya huko kwenyu, huko Ushago, ile inaenda straight ina join hiyo town ingine, hiyo ni national government road. That is a road that is supposed to be maintained by the government and not the county. Now ile barabara inatoka kutoka kwa center, kutoka kwa marketplace ikienda pale kwa dispensary ya Tokokotieno kwa kina Ben huko kwa brother Ben huko Ushago kwao. Hiyo barabara which is normally marammed, it's normally hakunaga tarmac, apart from areas like Central where MPs know what they are doing with the CDF. You will find those roads tarmacked, and Kisii, some of them in Kisii are tarmacked. Those roads that are marammed, those roads that you complain each and every day that MP anafanya nini, those are the roads that are supposed to be maintained by the county government,
Yeah.
by the county. Those are county roads. Those are county roads. Now,
Mm.
the bone of contention is these roads, they belong to the county. The MPs have got no business maintaining these roads. So Raila Odinga wants the funds to maintain, to be sent to the county government so that they maintain these particular roads. My problem is one: these counties have been misusing the little money that they are being given. They are not accountable. Instead of providing services for the people, they are
Mhm.
providing services for their stomachs. There are no checks and balances. I
Mhm.
wish they could be emphasizing that this fund, which is increased the way Sufuna is saying,
Yeah.
to so much, and yet the oversight in the Senate is already even more compromised. There should be a way that, Ben, you live in a country where they copied the constitution. Can you please tell them how a governor works? How the county, yeah, just a county, how it should work, because people don't seem to understand that a governor is a very powerful person. He's next to the president, and a governor can defy the president, and
And
the county governments can need to come up with laws. They don't know what they're doing.
let me tell you something that what even if Sifuna and everybody is fighting to bring all those monies and for the road levies to the county, one of the things that will happen is when you go to our counties are government of their own. Yeah. And what usually happens is what happens is that it is sometimes is very rare to find you have an opposition in that county. For instance, especially when you come to Migori, Siaya, um, Kisii, Homa Bay, those are all ODM governments. You know, they do not have opposition. So the governors or the party can decide that the MCAs and
They can wake
governors,
up one day wanasema hii pesa wacha tukule leo.
yeah, because like akuna that accountability to somebody to check them. Even the few who are independent, you find that they end up joining the government. So that is another thing that I feel that the idea is good, but if you sit and take a picture of our counties on how the money has been looted, what
Boss.
what gives you that hope
Yeah,
that if
that they will utilize this money properly.
properly, if the little that they've been given, some of the governors have not done well, apart from few we can count the Muranga from Kangata. Yeah.
Irungu Kangata should be the guy managing this country. If you ask me, Bana, that guy, if you give him the money that these counties are receiving, if you give him that kind of money, then Muranga County will be an example of a county that is run properly. Hmm?
The other day we were just taking audit because I know you're from Oma Bay. We were just taking audit,
Mm-hmm.
and remember when Governor Wanga came into office, the first project that was there, and even was launched by the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, Mokwa. It is where in what?
Mokwai is in somewhere in Kigoto,
Yes.
huko in Suba, Gwasi, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That one died, hiyo ilikufa. It
Yeah.
was absolute nonsense. And do you know what?
Mhm.
She did not start the factory. The factory was started by the former governor, Cyprian Awiti.
Yeah. Cyprian
So
Awiti.
the money that has been pumped into that Mokwa nonsense
Yeah.
is almost a billion. a billion. But today ukienda uangalie, I think ni nyoka ndio inaishi kwa hiyo compound, ni manyoka ndio zinakaa huko na security na gate zimefungwa.
So if you look at such like projects that have so much money has been pumped, and when it was being launched, it was launched to sustain the people around that area, to create employment, but has it created employment?
Bana, those governors wa Nyanza, wewe wapatie mali Prince Inda anacheza ngoma hapo and to give them an opportunity to dress up na wajipodoe waende huko. Boss,
so
if our development was geared towards entertainment, I think Luo Nyanza would be number one. Yeah.
So that is something. So I think as much as the Right Honorable Prime Minister and the Senate, they are trying their level best to make sure that the devolution, especially sending this money. But what worries everybody is if this money is brought to the county, is it going to be used effectively? How are they going to use it effectively? That is that question that must be answered.
Now to the audience, that is a question that has been posed by Brother Benson. If you're watching us from Africa, if you're watching us from Brother Benson Media, please pose your questions there. We will be able to answer them. If you've not subscribed to the one and only channel, Africa 24, please go to YouTube and do your subscription. Make sure that you are part of this conversation. Every Friday, we'll be bringing for you a recap of what nonsense the politicians have been saying. Na wakisema kitu mzuri, we will also hear it here on Africa 24. But if they are taking us through these games, now as we wrap up the Raila story, this orchestra, this music that Raila has been preaching of the government of national unity, which is unconstitutional, and today is dancing that, okay, fine, the things that we had agreed upon, boss, huyu jamaa is not implementing. But me, this is what I see, Brother Ben. Yeah. Raila Odinga is looking for an exit strategy, is looking vile atatoka. Unaona, wacha nikupatie kwa mfano mzuri. Umekatia huyu dem, ulikuwa unamuona ni mzuri sana mara ya kwanza bana, ushampeleka huko bana, ukiwasha asubuhi, umetoka na yeye club asubuhi ikifika, boss unapata ako na scar ya panga huku, alikatwa na panga nikamwizi mahali ako na scar kubwa bwana, unashindwa hii ni nani? Kwa mataa ya disco inakaa mzuri, lakini ikitolewa nje, this demon called broad-based government is something that is ridiculous. So Raila wants to walk out of it, and the reason why does he want to walk away from it? Me I'm saying lazima wakae kwa hiyo ndoa mpaka 2027, hakuna kutoka.
Unajua huwezi lazimisha, kwa sababu unajua kitu ambacho kinaendelea ni kwamba hata hao wenyewe labda wako na nia ya kugombea urais 2027, na wakitaka kwenda kugombea na wanataka kwenda kugombea, jambo la kwanza ni kwamba wakiendelea kufanya kazi mpaka labda tuseme 2027, haya maswali zote, matatizo labda serikali ya William Ruto inapitia, ama tuseme kwamba changamoto hizo, kama kuna vitu ambazo, baadhi za vitu ambazo labda hata kuwa amekamilisha wakati watu wanaenda uchaguzi, basi itakuwa sawasawa kwamba pia Raila atakuwa amechangia, kwa sababu ukiangalia wakati Raila alifanya salamu za heri na Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, rais aliye mamlakani kwa saizi alikuwa anasema kwamba hata zile ajenda 4 ambapo zilikuwa za muhimu sana zilisambaratika, hawakupata nafasi kufanya, lakini walileta BBI, na hiyo ilimpatia maili kubwa sana wakati wa kampeni zake, kwamba akasema kwamba sisi tukiingia kuna vitu ambazo tutafanya, hatuta tena ingia katika salamu za heri. Ni vitu vingi alisema, lakini unapata kwamba baada ya kuingia wapata changamoto imekuja mpaka salamu za heri, ambapo yeye mwenyewe alikana akasema kwamba, akaapa kwamba katika serikali yangu hatutakuwa na salamu za heri, akawa na hiyo. So inamaanisha kuwa hata wana ODM kama party labda wanataka kuenda watajua kwamba wataenda kuwa katika uchaguzi ama unyang'anyiro. Sasa itabidi sasa waanze kuongea ndio ili wakuwe katika tuseme kwamba msemo moja ama wakuwe katika eneo moja na wananchi wanasema nini. Lakini jambo lingine pia lazima sasa pia tuangalie kwa sababu another thing that also we have to wait and see on how the allies of the president are going to react, because the other day Cherargei reacted, and what he said, and which to me I think it was very disrespectful for especially people from the lake, because he was saying we've given you all the position and all that, so they should not complain. The jobs that were given, especially to Mbadi, Wandai, Atandi and all that, they were not favors. Those are positions that should be given to Kenyans. So it doesn't mean that if you are elected or you've given a position in government, you should not criticize if the government or if a certain leader is not doing well.
So unajua nini, Brother Ben?
Yeah.
Pole kwa interrupt your thought.
Yeah.
Unajua simba akiua mnyama ule anataka kukula hiyo kwa hiyo siku. Akishiba huwa anawacha ile inaitwa carcass. Then kuna watu wale wanyama wanaitwa scavengers. Scavengers ula carcass. So scavenger akipata kitu pale, kama simba ameshawinda na akaua na akakula akashiba, hawezi teta tu uliniwachia kidogo. Uliniwachia kidogo. Sasa zile watu walikuwa mawindoni, mlikuwa wapi? ODM has got no moral authority to complain about Kenya Kwanza and how William Ruto wants to govern the country. They have no moral authority.
No, they do not have.
They can play their role, which they abandoned so many years back when they joined the broad-based government. But right now they are in government. They cannot complain. Watch our wakule kakas, boss.
You see what the narrative that I'm bringing to you also, you have to understand, and it tells you when you are very keen, when before we go to another agenda, if you're very keen, especially the people who are complaining or people who are telling Orengo to resign.
Yes.
They were not, especially the people, the leaders who are from the beginning aligned themselves to ODM. If you look at them very keenly, these are leaders who have been aligned to president. And none of the ODM members, especially if you go to even to the county members of assembly, none of them said anything concerning Orengo, And now Raila coming out. And I want also to see how Sudi is going to react, because the other time when Sudi was having an interview with one of the I think
all right, Ben. Hold your thought. We have finished that segment for Raila Odinga and ODM and the dance that they have been playing. Now, in the next agenda, we'll be discussing what Brother Ben has just mentioned. How Kenya Kwanza has reacted to the it. Yes, welcome back. And if you've not subscribed to Afrique24, and if you are not following Brother Benson Media on YouTube, please make a point, make a date, and make sure that you subscribe to Afrique24. Here is where you'll get the real story. Now, our next segment is Kenya Kwanza reacting to Raila Odinga, Kenya Kwanza reacting to Linturi. Yeah, you've seen now Linturi is coming out talking. Watu washaanza kuongea mlima. And one person who is so quiet is Kindiki. Is Mulima warming up for Gachagua awesomely?
To me, when I'm looking for Milima, I know there are so many activities that are happening in Milima. Recently, you saw three major that has happened, especially from Milima East. Three major political moves that has happened, and this should even worry the Kenya Kwanza, especially those who are supporting the president. One is Munya coming out and saying that he do not want a job in president government. And remember, when president was touring those sides of Mulima, especially when he was in Meru, he said that kuna watu wawili, that is Mithika Lenturi and Munya, wanazungumuza kuna mali watawekwa. And Munya came out and said there is no conversation or negotiation that is taking place between him and the president. Yeah. And he said categorically he doesn't want a job in the government. He's focused on how he can regain the governorship of Meru. That is one. Two is Kraito Murungi, the bus party, the bus. They are exiting Kenya Kwanza. That is very significant in politics, especially when it comes to the Meru politics. The two is Mithika Lenturi Maka Maore visiting Wamunyoro in going to Nyeri to visit Wamunyoro, and he went with a delegation. So if you look at those three incidences, especially in Mount Kenya East, yeah, I think the Kenya Kwanza, especially the UDA wing, should think twice and look at what will happen when Rigathi Gachagua will be launching his party. The very moment that Rigathi Gachagua will launch that party, I tell you, there will be a shift in politics, and so many people will run towards that party, including Ndindi Nyoro. I suspect that is what they are waiting for, and that party that Gachagua is going to launch, it's going to be a soft spot, especially for people from Mount Kenya. Everybody would want to associate himself with that party because Wamunyoro, for quite some time, has become a celebrity of Mount Kenya. Everybody wants to take a picture with him, you know. So if he launches his political party, it will be a very soft spot for Mount Kenya, and so many of the young people who wants to run for those seats, be it MCA and all that, will troop to Wamunyoro, and it will be a very, very heavy task, especially for Kenya Kwanza, especially UDA, to match it. That is what I think.
Yeah, I think you are spot on the analysis that Mount Kenya is indeed moving towards their own camp, and it is evident when you see people like Kiraitu Murungi. Those are big shots in big shots in Meru and Linturi. The other Kikuyus from Muranga, Nyeri, blah blah. Those ones are already in Gashagua's camp. But I said, in this political chessboard, there is one card that Ruto will play, and I'm seeing that card is about to unleash it. Yeah. And that card, I have written about it. If you go to our website on Afrique word page, you will see the articles that I've written about that card that Ruto will play on Mount Kenya. And that card will change the politics, the political dynamics. And I think there are already whispers about that card. Mm-hmm. I am seeing Agashagwa come back. No, just say, hey, you don't anticipate that. Nobody anticipates that, including the person who has just said it, who is Mzalendo. I have told you, I am predicting Gachagua come back in Kenya Kwanza.
No, I don't think so.
You
And
don't think so?
I can give you a reason.
Did you ever think that one day William Ruto and Raila Odinga would work together?
That was possible.
Did you ever think of a possibility of one Gachagua working with Raila Odinga?
Yeah, that one is possible.
Politics is about interest.
Let me tell you. There's something that is about Central Kenya that we might be ignoring. You know, when you look at the dynamics of Central Kenya politics, is quite much different with, especially when you come to Nyanza or the Kalenjins. Yeah, you find that the dynamic of Central Kenya politics, the leaders will always follow the people. Even Rigathi Gachagua was lucky enough that his impeachment came at a time when there was that process of exiting from President William Ruto, because they'd already started complaining based on the heavy taxes that they were receiving due to the fact that they were the business, they were owning big corporate, and the taxes were affecting them more than any other person. Yeah. So when the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua came in, the impeachment came when there was an exodus. There was an exodus already. And after realizing that there was an exodus, he took the impeachment and decided not to make it his own, but to make it a community thing. So that's why I do not foresee, I do not foresee a situation whereby the Wamunyoro coming back to work with the president. That is one of them. I've told you about the exodus. That Rigathi came when there was an exodus already started. People had already started to move on and say, okay, we are not going to be here, because there was complaint. And that was a war, boardroom war between them. Even the professionals who he was saying were being taken out of office. Remember, he used to say that. So there was that massive exodus was started. So he came and took advantage of that and made it a Mount Kenya region. That is one. Secondly, about the reason why I don't think like it can work. Rigathi Gachagua is on a revenge mission, and he has to, of what he went through. And what did he go through? Remember, during the campaigns, he played a major role in terms of mobilizing the women. Yeah, in terms of mobilizing the women. And you could see, and even the attacks that he did, because he was very good in terms of messaging. Yeah, and even what he was promised. So, and if you look at the process by which he was impeached, yeah, he was like, he was being finished politically, because remember, when you go through impeachment, what does it state? What does our law say about impeachment? Yeah. So this was a process whereby somebody was determined to finish you politically, which Uhuru Kenyatta could have done to the current president, but maybe he had a good heart to say, okay, this is politics. One time you might want to run for presidency. Yeah. So with that, I do not think, and if he does go back, I don't think the constituency of Mount Kenya will go back with him. I don't think so.
Wow. You don't think that the constituency of Mount Kenya will go back with Gachagua? Let me tell you, Mount Kenya right now, they don't have a strong political party. They have individuals that they are following. There are those who are following Gachagua. There are those who are following Kindiki and William Ruto. And there's another block that is following Uhuru Kenyatta. But having said that, Ben,
yeah,
let us have a wild thought. Do you think there's a possibility of a Raila and Ruto ticket? Before I go to what Osam is writing on the wall here.
Yeah, I think
Is there a
Raila,
possibility that Raila and Ruto can have a ticket in 2027?
yeah, they can have a ticket in 2027, and I can give you a reason. This is the way I think. Ruto and Raila has a history together. Yeah, they share the same history. And if you are keen, when Ruto was in the burial of Raila's aide, if you go back to his speech was not even about the person who was being sent off, the person that we are paying the last respect for. No, his speech was about the praise for Raila. And he said that this man stood with me. I did know that he can stand with me. And I stood with him. And when such statement comes from President William Ruto, what comes to your mind? When this man stood with me and I stood with him. Remember in 2018, Ruto stood with Raila. And if you go to those clips on how at KICC, how he was fighting so hard, like about the election and the rigging, at a point of need. And that was a point when Raila needed him. And even the constituency of President William Ruto voted for Raila 100%. Now, after that, it came during the Gen Z, when he was losing it. Raila stood with him. So what do you think makes it not possible for them to have a ticket?
Well, viewers out there, please answer those questions. Do you think there is a possibility of Raila Ruto ticket in 2027? I need your answer on the comment section. If you have not subscribed, and awesome, asante sana for being on the comment section. Julia, asante sana for being part of this show this evening.
That's the one Julia we know. Or
of
Julia?
course, that is the one Julia, she's hiding on the comment section. Karibu sana, we want to see your face next time when you have an issue. Kuja hapa tu, tunawakaribisha hapa Afrika hapa. This is where tuna sieve ile siasa na tunawapatia ile kitu amujui katika hii siasa ya Kenya, but Raila Ruto ticket, there's a possibility, Ben, but now there is one thing that the ODM First Lady said that, and I can translate it in vernacular, Kothmoro Biroka. Yeah. Sama kodhi ni nyidho kama nyidho matin kama komuru nikech koth maduong' biro. Ung'eyo gima wacho no. Now, can you translate that in what does that mean?
He was like, alikuwa anasema kwamba kuna dalili ya mvua. Yeah, kuna dalili ya mvua na watu wapande, mjitayarishe kupanda kwa sababu kuna dalili ya mvua, na kwamba mvua ikinyesha mtapata mavuno ama mazao mazuri. Kwa tafsiri yangu hiyo.
Lakini mimi vile na tafsiri ni hii mvua kidogo imetunyeshea kidogo hii, msisahau kupanda mkidhari kuna mvua kubwa inakuja. So pandeni sahihi, kwa sababu ile mvua kubwa inakuja kuharibu mimea.
Yeah, inaweza kuwa, lakini pia lazima uangalie wakati. Unajua, sana sana mtu akizungumza lazima uangalie wakati ambapo anazungumza na kwa nini. Ukiangalia wakati bibie Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga alikuwa anazungumza eneo gani? Na eneo ambao alikuwa anazungumzia ilikuwa eneo ambayo asilimia kubwa sasa tunaweza sema kwamba inafanya na serikali, na hapo eneo tu bali kuna pia asilimia kubwa ambao wajaridhishwa na kufanya kwa serikali, kwa sababu ukienda katika mtandao kuna maswali mengi watu wanauliza, ambapo bado ni mzungumkuti sana sana au wanasiasa kujibu. Ukiangalia vizuri, kuna jamaa ako pale kwa mtandaoni anaitwa Mr. Nyando, alikuwa amesema kwamba nyinyi endeleeni tu kuunga serikali, sisi wote tukoe katika ndani ya serikali. Yeah? Anauliza maswali mengi, anauliza wale ambao wakati watu walikuwa wanaandamana walikuwa wamepoteza maisha yao, wamepata fidia. Yeah? Wengine walikuwa wanauliza serikali hii ambao sasa unatuambia sisi tuingie, ni kwamba mmekuwa mkituambia kwa miaka nenda miaka rudi kwamba serikali hii mbaya hii, leo uzuri wake umetokea wapi? Ndio maana ukiona kama bibie Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga alikuwa anazungumza, lazima sasa aongee na wale watu ambao labda hawajaridhishwa, ili wapatiwe tumaini kwamba pale ambapo tupo ni pazuri. Palilia vizuri, kuna mvua inakuja. Kuwa na mbegu, panda, utavuna, kwa sababu mvua itanyesha. Hata kama ikuje, unajua hata mvua ikuje kujwa mingi kiasi vipi, ile itakuja inaonyesha, lakini umepalilia na umeweka mkakati bora, bado utavuna mazao mengi na mazuri. Sasa lakini anawaambia wale ambao hawana imani na sisi, ama wale ambao hawana imani na mfumo ambao tumetumia kuingia katika hii serikali, nawaambia kuna mavuno mazuri, jichangamkeni muingie. Hiyo ndio mimi venye na tafsiri. Yeah.
Haya, changamkeni muingie katika hii serikali ya broad based government. Kuna jamaa ananipigia bana, niko kwa studio hapa tunachambua Kenya na vile kuna vitu zitaenda. Mwacha kunipigia simu saa hii kaka, nini dada, ni nini Kenya? Watu wameamka sasa, wana masimu. Jameni, ukiwa pale Kenya na unapiga kura, na ukiwa hapa Marekani, tafadhali wacha ujumbe mfupi hapo ukisema utapigia nani kura 2027. Ni Rais Ruto, Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka and hao wengine Gachagua, hao wengine nawaita others. Hii siasa kama watu wa kuongelea saa hii, ndugu yangu, bas wacha mambo ya presidency. Tafuta kitu ingine, kitu ingine kabisa, kwa sababu siasa saa hii pale imefika ni strategy, ni kama chessboard. Unaona ile mchezo wa chess, wewe umecheza draft ama umecheza chess?
Chess nilishindwa kucheza, lakini najua kucheza draft.
Vipi kaka bana, unaniangusha tena ndugu yangu bana. Chess wewe ni Mjaluo bana, unachezaje draft hii mchezo ya watu wanauza makaa
sasa unajua kitu lazima ujue, unajua ni vizuri usijimwambafai kwamba unajua kucheza. Siku moja utakutana na hao wasikilizaji wetu,
wewe ndio unapigaga ile kingi tak mpaka huko mwisho.
Hakuna kujimwambafai, unakuwa tu mkweli. Ukishakuwa mkweli na ukweli huwa inaweka watu huru, hata Biblia inatuambia hivyo.
Bana, tumejumuika leo hii show. Unajua kila wakati tunataka kuwe ni sari moja, 1 hour we talk substance na 1 hour we finish the show.
Yeah.
We don't want to go beyond that hour. I'm seeing Awesome hapa takituambia Awesome, hebu tujaribu kujibu kidogo kwa watazamaji wetu wale wako pale. Hebu tu engage hapa kidogo. Hebu soma hilo. Awesome anasema,
like Wamunyoro, Matiang'i, Kalonzo have also zero pathway if they run individually, so Ruto stands a great chance to unite with one of them and has a back to the presidency. I agree 100%. And this is what is going to happen. If the opposition, this one include Matiang'i, Kalonzo Musyoka, those who want Ruto to go in 2027, one of the things that they have to do, they have first of all to cut their interest. Unajua ile mnachagua mtu mmoja, mnasema kwamba huyu ndio mtu ambaye tunafaa. You cut your ambition for presidency. But if it comes that day, then Kalonzo would want to run for presidency, Matiang'i would want to run for presidency, and all of them, including Eugene Wamalwa, or forming another coalition somewhere, then to compete, then that is a walkthrough for President William Ruto. The only way that it kind of give President Ruto sleepless night, if everybody come together and say that, okay, we are supporting one candidate. They don't look at the background of that person. They don't look at numerical numbers. They say that, okay, our main aim is maybe to make President Ruto one term. That one will be. Another issue that they will also have to do, they will have to find a way of how engaging with the Gen Z. And not only engaging them, involving them in the process of their campaigns and making sure they are part and parcel of that campaign or of that their political party. If not, yeah, and they will, if they want also the constituency of the Gen Z, they will also have to make sure that the other opponent does not use the divide and rule method on the Gen Z, because what will happen, and 2027 is going to be one of the expensive campaigns ever seen in the Kenyan campaign history, because a lot of money is going to be used, because
Now,
it's going to be a do or die for President William Ruto. He wants to make his second term, and it's also going to be a do or die for position they want Ruto to go home. So it will be high competition politics, competitive politics.
now, do you think this election that is coming is about projects? Some people think that the number of projects that Ruto will have completed by 2027 will grant him the presidency. Can you answer, Osam? This election is not about the projects, and that's why they are getting it all wrong. This is not about projects that
No.
that they are going to complete. This is not about the projects that have been abandoned. No, 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 no. This election is a defining moment for the country. We want to sweep the whole of Parliament out and the Senate. It is not about William Ruto. It is the change. The DNA of the Republic of Kenya is being changed, boss.
To me, I think this election, I can compare it to 202. 202. If you read the history of 202, their main aim was to take Moi out of power. And for some good reason, I think that one also costed the country a lot, because after Moi left, what next? What happened? The Kibaki Raila came, they disagreed.
Brother Ben, hii narrative umeshaingia. Ati after Ruto, what next?
Yeah,
Are you asking us that question?
Yeah, I have to ask, because
we have the constitution, and we have the IBC and the election, and we have the three arms of power of government. Why are you asking this question? What next?
Does it mean that now after that is now we have those, or we've been having them ever since?
We have been having these institutions, but they are not working for the people. Wewe angalia Wakenya sahii wamebeba mzigo ya Raila Odinga na William Ruto, wameweka kwa mgongo. Mzigo ya Raila Odinga na William Ruto imewekwa hapo wapi? Kwa mgongo. Naona huyu SG ameingia hapa. SG bana, kaka, karibu bana, karibu Afrika. Secretary General, hebu tuambie uko wapi na ndio umeamka?
Bwana, ulienda show usiku sana, sikuiona, hukutuma link, sasa ndio napata.
Si hii ni show ya watu asubuhi tu, watu
wale sawa. Si ninaweza sikiza tu basi, nisikize magazeti nini.
Pia unaweza toa maoni bwana SG, huwezi toka utoroka tu hivi utoe maoni. Sisi sasa tunachambua siasa ya wiki vile imeenda. Wewe pia tutolee tu maoni yako vile unafikiria kabla utoroke kutuchambulia magazeti. Unaona katika hii title ni Shaky Coalition, the political tension threatening to split the alliance. Hii ndoa ya kati ya bwana Raila Odinga na William Samoei Ruto inaenda kama inasambaratika, na ukiangalia vizuri ni wananchi ndio wamebeba hii mzigo. Wananchi wa Kenya ndio wamebeba hii mzigo kwa huu muda wote. Muda wa AUC ni wananchi wamebeba mzigo. Wakati inaenda kusambaratika ni wananchi wa Kenya ndio wanaumia, na hao ilhali mfuko zao zinanona.
Kweli.
Ndugu yangu, tutaenda wapi? Hizi ndio mambo tunafaa kuongea. Asante sana, hebu changia kidogo.
Yeah, I think it is the writing is on the wall. Ukiangalia hiyo coalition ni kwamba sasa kuna baadhi ya sehemu mbili ama kuna watu ambao hawaendeshani sana na broad based. Ukiangalia mtu kama Orengo, uangalie Anyang' aliandika a very explosive letter, akasema we are crawling back to the Nyayo era. And that is why this guy is very adamant kufanya kile anataka kama president, because ile nguvu amepewa na Raila Amolo Odinga. In fact, I think without Baba, the government cannot perform. Kuna mtu alisema Baba aliprovide kitu inaitangwa life support machine ya kisiasa, kwa sababu wajenzi wamesukuma Ruto so much mpaka Baba akakuja kuwachukulia. But broad based government, hata ukiangalia Baba mwenyewe hata jana vile aliongea ni kana kwamba ana support vile Anyang' alisema, na akaongea na ni kama akasupport, sijui kama hiyo kuko na hiyo video, akasupport pia vile Orengo amesema. Hiyo nakwambiaje, Baba yuko pale tu kwa muda. Na pia rafiki yangu mwingine anaitwa Mr. Nick akaniambia kuna vile bibi ya Aida aliongea na Kijaka, akasema mawingu yametanda, mvua itanyesha, nyinyi ngojeni tu muone, kwa sababu the moment hiyo kitu imefanyika, ndugu yangu, hiyo broad based government inaisha. Kwa hivyo tunajua ya kwamba kuna wale ambao wanaenjoy, na ndio wanaona hata Gen Z wanaambia Baba sasa aende akakue pop. Wanasema aende akakue pop kwa sababu ya zile vitu ambazo high broad based government imewaonyesha. Ile pesa ambayo ilitumika huko AU inauma watu mpaka wa leo. Ilikuwa pesa mingi sana, kwa sababu mandege zingine ni private jets. Marais wengine kama wa Chad na nini walikuwa wanataka pesa taslim, na mwishowe tukaambulia patupu. Kwa hivyo broad based government imekuwa tu ya kunyanyasa wananchi, ya kuwagandamiza. But I cannot tell you my friends, this will not last. Unaweza jua ndoa ambayo iko karibu kuvunjika, kwa sababu sisi pia tumekuwa kwa ndoa ambazo zimevunjika. Inaanzanga na kuulizana chumvi. Kwa nini chakula unaweka chumvi mingi sana ndugu yangu? Inaanza polepole hivyo. Kwa nini ukiwa kwa kitanda na bibi yako anakuuliza kwa nini uendangi nyumbani hata kupeleka kuona wazazi?
Mbona nangorota hivi
Mbona nangorota hivyo? Yaani sasa umeanza kuona mangoroto yangu, umeanza kuona kila kitu shida yangu. Mwishowe eventually hatutakuwa kama partners ama bibi na bwana. Kwa hivyo Nick, hiyo ndio maneno ambayo inanionyesha kwamba kuna ishara kubwa sana kwamba hii ndoa haina maisha
haina maisha. Asante sana SG. Brother Ben, hebu sema bwana.
Mimi unajua, mimi kitu ambacho naangalia ama kitu ambacho mimi kwa matazamo yangu tu ni kwamba broad based iko na changamoto mingi kulingana na kuna maswali mengi ambao watu wanauliza ambao wapati majibu, na kadri wanaweza kuuliza swali inakuwa bayana kwamba hizi swali, kwa sababu kuna hiyo uhusiano yao na Raila Odinga, inamaanisha kwamba lazima kwamba hizi majibu lazima yatapatiana. Watu wanauliza swali kama abductions. These are things that people are asking. People are asking things like cost of living, university model, devolution, all this, and is this government answering all this? So and these are loads that are weighing they're weighing the government, and since Raila is working with the government, is on his shoulders too. So the reason why might be working out, I said it earlier, is because like you want to offload some of this, because the answers are not coming. Because if you take the history, immediately after the Gen Z, there were experts that were donated to the government. And when an expertise is procured, you have to see the effect of the expertise. But I don't know whether the Kenyans have experienced the effect of the expertise. I don't know. Then after that, after the expertise, what happened again? Immediately after the Addis Ababa, there was a memorandum of understanding. And the memorandum of understanding was now the marking scheme that was being used on the president. And they said that, okay, for us to work, there's a point agenda that we need to do. One of them including enacting of the NADCO report, which is very unpopular with the people. Yeah. When you come to that, there was strengthening of devolution and making it work. There was things to look at the debt. And we are looking at the debt. Right now, President is going to get some loans that is going to use, and they're still looking at national debt. How is that one? So maybe the marking scheme that they're using, or to gauge the memorandum of understanding, they're not getting it right. So the only option that is left is, okay, now we have to leave. And how do we leave? We leave by our soldiers starting to complain. Yeah, and when they complain and bring that confusion, and at the end of the day, what happens?
Brother Ben, your final words.
Mimi naambia Wakenya wachukue kura. Siasa tunaweza ongea tu, ni siasa tu, tunaongea mambo ya siasa kila siku, na mimi jambo naweza sema kwamba tukikosoa mtu imaanishi kwamba sisi hatumpendi. Hapana. Tukikosoa mtu ama tukisema mambo mazuri ambayo mtu amefanya, ni kwamba sisi tunataka tu kwenda nchi yetu iendelee. Yeah? Na mimi ningependa kurai wa Kenya wengi, sana sana wenzetu wale ambao wajapata vitambulisho, wapate vitambulisho, waende wapige, wasikile kupiga kura ikifika, wapige kura, kwa sababu majibu yote ambao wao wanataka, au maswali mingi ambao wanauliza kuhusu nchi yao, hizo jibu zote ziko pale wakati wa kupiga kura. Wakati unapiga kura ndio inakuwa ni saa mzuri ambayo ya kujibu hayo maswali umekuwa ukiuliza ya miaka 5. Ukisema kwamba utaki Rais Ruto aendelee kwa awamu ya pili, sawa, hiyo jibu iko hapo. Ukitaka tena utaki kuona maybe another broad based government ikuje, hayo swala yote yako hapo. Hapo ndio pale utajibu swali. Haya tu ni mazungumzo tu. Na kama we ni mgeni katika channel hizi mbili, unaweza enda pale kwa Brother Benson and Africa 24, be part of the conversation and join to be part of the family. Thank you so much, Mr. Mzalendo.
SG, your final word.
Yeah, for me, I'll just say, let's keep the fire burning, because when we stop talking, we start fighting, and let us keep fighting for good governance, because we all want a good country. I was telling you yesterday that what are you going to come home to if we do not have a country that we can all be proud of? So we're going to make sure that we go and see what's happening in the counties, what is happening in the districts, the constituencies, and even in the executive and the judiciary, because these are things that are part and parcel of us. Kwa hivyo mimi hiyo ndio maoni yangu, na I'm happy. Nilikuwa nadhania hamtakuja, but I'm happy to see you. I woke up in the morning and then I saw that message. Nikaingia. Thank you so much.
No. Karibu sana. This show starts very, very late. At least we want to catch up with the audience back at home. Wakiamka tuwapatie fresh news and hope, hata wakienda mali wanaenda. Maureen Awuor, asante sana kujumuika nasi. Ayoki, asante sana. Austin Okumu, John Owiti, Erokamano. Naona Wajaluo wanapenda siasa, ni kama ilikatwa kwa damu. But nimeshukuru sana kwa wale walikuwa kwa comment section. Awesome. Gypsy Corner, karibuni tena sana. Those who have been following, if I didn't mention your name, and you are part of the Africa family and you have not subscribed, please do so. Enda tu ndio utatumotivate pia kesho pia sisi tukuje pale. Now, Brother Ben,
Yes.
Ni kama hii ndoa ya convenience wananchi ndio wamebeba mzigo. Wananchi ndio wamebeba mzigo yao, sauti yao tutasikia wakati wa 2027. Asanteni sana on behalf of Brother Ben and SG Secretary General, asante sana kutazama Afrika. Keep the conversation going online, na kwa niaba ya hao wangwana Brother Ben na SG, reminding you that in democracy, silence is surrender. Stay woke until we meet next time. Na next time ukayo kujua ni kesho, SG atakuwa na show murwa hapa katika Afrika. Good evening or good morning.